Welcome. Today we're taking a look inside North Montco Technical Career Center. I'm Suzette McHugh and I'm the Industry Partnership Coordinator at the school. And joining me now is Mr. Joe Paddock. He's the guidance counselor at the school. And Joe, I'm glad you're here. You've been here before and you always have so much information for us. So before you talked a lot about the school and different programs we had to offer, can you give us some details on the school, like opportunities that are available for the students if they attend North Montco?
Okay. In general, there's basically going to be two options for students that go through one of our 22 programs and complete a program. And it's basically working in the technical field that they choose or going on to college or post-secondary education. So our school is part of the state's SOAR program. It's students that are occupationally and academically ready. So we're preparing students for both of those options. We're giving them technical job skills and in many cases industry certifications that they can leave our school with as seniors, graduate and go right into the workforce for some career level type jobs. So we're preparing them for that, the work piece. The second part is the college and post-secondary option. And this has been a sort of a misperception over the years, and especially going back 10, 20, 30 years, that some of the students don't go to college. That's completely changed. Most of our students do go on to college. Coming out of our school, they are qualified for college. We even offer a number of college credits. We have agreements with many different schools. Just to give you an example, students that go through our mechatronics and robotics program, which is closely tied to engineering, they can get up to 18 college credits for the work they do in high school with us. Our biotech program students get 6 college credits in 1 year of coming to North Montco. So they are prepared for the college part of things too. What we do when students come to us, we basically just take the place of their electives at the sending school. So they're going to have the same academic courses that they would if they did not come to North Montco, and the academic courses are primarily what prepares them for college. We just, I guess, sort of focus their electives in a certain career area or technical area. So yeah, those are the two basic outcomes that we provide. Whereas most of the traditional high schools, they're preparing students academically for post-secondary education. There's not a focused technical skill or career goal with the traditional high school. So we're kind of doing both, preparing students for college and preparing them for the world of work. So we're really giving them two options when they leave North Montco.
And I think it's great that you brought up that we are an elective. That's basically what it is, and it's a great opportunity for the students to try out careers before they go into college and say, oh no, wasted all this money on classes that I'm not even going to use.
Right.
So they have the opportunity sooner. Now I did want to say too, I just heard that biotechnology is going to be offering 8 college credits for next year. It was always 6, and now that program is going to be offering 8 college credits. So
Right.
the students will graduate with 8 college credits already if they complete that program.
Right, yeah, exactly. So they're really getting a head start on their college curriculum, their college work.
Exactly.
And saving some money on it too.
Right,
right.
right.
2 less classes they have to pay for.
That's right. And the misperception you said about North Montco students don't go to college, we hear that all the time. People think tech school kids don't go to college. And I'm happy that you brought that up because our guest on the next segment, there are 2 seniors, and they both told me they plan to go to college, and that's all in the works for them right now. So we'll hear from them in a little bit.
Right.
But can you also tell me what advantage you feel that a student attending North Montco may gain? I know you mentioned having earning certifications and getting college credits, but what other advantages would they gain?
Yeah, well, you mentioned a couple of the big ones. I mean, the college credits. I mean, students can earn anywhere from 3 credits up to 18, I think is now our max, which is for the engineering students over a whole semester. I mean, that's definitely a big one. They're prepared to work if they choose to. as high school students. And in my opinion, one of the big things is financial reasons and avoiding debt. That is a tremendous benefit. Students can actually leave high school and be qualified to work in jobs in the fields that we teach and start off with a pretty good salary. And I've talked to students about a couple of these scenarios is if a student comes to us, they go out and work right when they graduate from high school, and they have a skilled level job, which is what we're preparing them for. They can work during the years that are traditionally the college years, 18 to 22 or 23, and make money over the course of those 4 or 5 years, get experience. So when you compare students coming out of our school 5 years down the road, comparing that to an entry-level person coming out of college, a lot of times the salaries are similar, if not more, in some of our fields, and they've earned money over the course of those 4 or 5 years and avoided going into debt. So there's, a tremendous swing of money there. So instead of going, spending $120,000, which might be a conservative figure for 4 years of college, they've maybe earned that same amount. So we're talking, almost a $250,000 swing of money by, getting technical skills and working over the course of those 4 or 5 years.
And some of the companies, I know, I was at a meeting with one of the companies, and they like to hire the students directly out of high school, have them work, and then they send them to school on their own, through the company paying for it, because they want them to advance in the company. But they also want the employee that knows all the ropes, every level.
Right.
So they like them to start in the bottom level, right out of high school, and continue on.
Right, yeah, it's another great way to get free education is, get hooked up with a company right out of school, have them pay for it. That's, again, the financial incentives are huge.
Exactly. Well, what benefits would the sending schools in the community get from having a student receive technical training?
Well, I'll go back to debt because indirectly that impacts the school districts pretty drastically. And I think things have changed so much. I wrote down a figure the other day that I thought was very important to mention. And in 7 years, the average student debt has increased 58% in just 7 years. So in 2005, the average student with student loans was $17,000 in debt. And in 2012, that went up to $2,700. So, it's increased drastically. I've been reading a lot of studies, and economists say that there could be a financial aid bubble, just like the housing bubble that brought down the economy, 5 years ago.
Right.
So there's that potential. How that affects the school districts and the community, well, when there's a real high level of student debt, it limits innovation, it limits the number of people that go out and start businesses. They just can't do it because they're financially strapped, they have too much debt. So these are all small businesses which could help the community. And when there's small businesses in the community, the tax base increases. School budgets are tied directly to that. And when those things are not there, the tax base suffers, the school budget suffers. The services available to educate students goes down. So, both directly and indirectly, it does affect the community and even the school district.
Exactly.
And it really affects families because traditionally the push over the last, I'm sure 10, 20, 30 years is if you want a good salary, you got to go to college. Well, things I think have been changing. There, especially with the cost of college, the debt that students are going in. So really the main reason why most students are going to college is to become better off financially. But if they make the wrong decisions when it comes to their education, their college majors, if they go to college, they, in many cases, could end up in worse financial shape. When they're trying to put themselves in a better financial position, they could end up in much worse with going into extreme debt, choosing a major where they can't get a job, not being able to get through college, And I think as educators in schools, we need to see that, and we need to avoid putting students and families in that kind of bad position, that worse off financial position. So yeah, in those ways, I think it really affects students, families, the community, the school
Right.
districts.
Well, and also it would affect the local industry. So what are the hottest fields now in terms of the local job market?
Well, I would say I speak with all of our teachers in our 22 programs, and the teachers I hear the most saying that they're getting calls from businesses looking for skilled workers is our machine trades program, our welding program, robotics and mechatronics. I mean, these are all, I guess, tied into manufacturing. The jobs are there. The jobs are there locally. And it's funny because we do have some trouble attracting students to those programs in many cases.
And what are the hurdles? Why is that?
I just don't think they're aware of what jobs are there, what these people do. When we talk about machining and manufacturing, that's not a career that many students know about. They know what an auto mechanic does or a cosmetologist, and there's jobs in those fields also. But I think when you get into manufacturing, it's not as clear what jobs are there, what those people do, how much money they make. And I think that sometimes is an obstacle, just the lack of awareness. So we're really making an effort to promote those careers. We will be holding an event later this school year, sometime in late May, early June. We'll be putting information on our website about that. But really what we want to do is bring in local businesses, industry people, and let them talk to students and parents and anybody from the community, really, to let them know what jobs are available, what those jobs look like, the salary, because those are available.
Right.
I mean, students can be taking advantage of the education at North Montco and the jobs available locally, and really putting themselves in great position to have a good career, good salary, that sort of thing. So yeah, I'd say manufacturing, those couple areas are very hot right now in terms
And
of...
they're the places when you're driving down the street that have all the help wanted signs out. So it's
Right.
definitely a push. I know we are, North Montco is joining with an organization who is partnering with us to help us inform parents and students of these fields so that they can get students who will eventually be their employees, because the push is to bring back everything made in America again. So it's
Right.
really important. And everything you told us has been great, Joe. You really explained the need for technical training and how it saves in so many ways, including financially, as you brought up. So thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to hear from the Floral Design and Landscaping program. Stay tuned.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Today we're taking a look inside North Montco Technical Career Center, and today we're going to learn about the Floral Design and Landscaping program. Joining me now are Mrs. Patty Miller, the instructor, along with two of our students, Cassie Sowden and Nate Ellis. So thank you all for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
And Patty, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
It's floral design and landscaping, so it kind of seems obvious what the program is.
Right.
Do the students specialize in an area, or do they learn both aspects?
Right. Well, originally the program was called horticulture. Specifically, it was environmental horticulture technology. And what we found was that many students didn't have any idea what that was. So the local name was changed to Floral Design and Landscape Technology to, help provide a better understanding for students. In fact, in addition to doing floral design and landscaping, we do interior plantscaping. We have a small production greenhouse that the students operate. And so the program really has a lot more than just floral design and landscaping. But back to your question, do the students specialize? What I try to do with the students is lead them in the direction that they have intentions on finding employment and to get them ready for that. So for instance, Nate, as part of his NOCD testing yesterday, had to assemble a corsage, design and assemble a corsage, which he did very, very well. But during the course of the school year, when prom comes or there's certain occasions, because we do have the student-run flower shop, I wouldn't necessarily call on Nate to do corsages, even though he's capable, because I know that that's not really an area that he would like to procure employment in.
Right.
So in that sense, we try to, direct the students and give them the opportunities, because horticulture is such a broad umbrella of career paths. Cassie, on the other hand, is more interested in floral design, and so many times I call on Cassie when we have arrangements to do for special events or orders to fill, and so, I'll steer her more then in that direction.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to hear from both of you about the aspects of what you like, but I just want to mention you're both seniors, and Mrs. Miller spoke about NOCD testing, which is a national occupancy kind of test related to all the programs at North Montco. So students in every field have to take this test as 12th grader, and it's basically to see if you understand the material and if you're advanced in that field. So that's what we were talking about, and I'm sure you both did very well.
We did.
Cassie, we're going to go back to you. The floral design, I know we always come to you for last-minute arrangements, and you're very creative. What do you like most about that?
Well, I like having the opportunity to be creative about things, because we usually don't know what we're gonna do when we get a thing. So when we get an order, so like when we get something, like we're doing Honor Society today, so we kind of just make it up as we go, and I like that part. What
made you pick this program?
Probably because I like being outside, and we go outside quite a lot, and we get dirty, and I love getting dirty. And like we have our greenhouse, and I love being in there and deadheading our plants, and the floral part probably because you be creative, and I love being creative.
And it is true, you are always outside in this program. I think if people are driving by on a beautiful day, they probably see the students working out in the yard, working on the landscape. And that brings me to you then, Nate. I know you like the landscaping part. Can you tell us what you like about it?
Well, when I'm outside, usually when I'm at home, I cut my own grass, I weed my own gardens. But here at the tech school for this program, I've learned more than just doing that. I learned how to define edges of garden beds and, the actual mathematics of landscaping more than I would at home. And, just going around trees and cutting grass and chopping wood, I'm actually out there and doing it and learning how, to, get it done the right way and to get down deep into the roots of landscaping.
Right, wow, that's terrific. Patty, he mentioned the mathematics of landscaping, which I think people don't necessarily understand, that there's so much academic components to the technical classes.
Yes.
And the students don't realize it either, because it makes sense to them because they're doing something they enjoy. So can you tell us about that?
Yes, well, what you said is very true. And we do it without thinking about it, but you know, every day we're using math. So when it comes to an area like landscaping, the students are learning basic geometry, but that's also true in floral design. And I'll go back to, you know, yesterday, because it's still fresh in our minds. They did their, you know, hands-on practical skills for their senior NOCD testing, and one of the tasks that they had to complete to industry standards was to create an isosceles triangle arrangement. And well, first of all, you have to know what an isosceles triangle is, and then they had to do it to very specific criteria. And in addition to that, then there was a math worksheet that they had to figure out the wholesale cost of the product that went into that arrangement. They had to figure out the markup, the margin of profit, and then the actual retail selling price. And so we're doing math that pertains to the industry all the time, almost daily. When we get floral orders in for the student-run flower shop, we're getting them in from wholesalers or any of our supplies, whether it comes from, you know, Griffin Greenhouse for the greenhouse supplies. There's always a discrepancy between a wholesale cost and a retail cost, and so they're doing math like that pretty much on a daily basis, but they're not identifying it necessarily as, oh, this is math class, because it's just part of what we do, and they enjoy it. So,
right.
Yeah.
And during the testing too, it's not like you or any of the instructors are able to grade them. These are all graded by outside industry representatives.
Yes, I have an evaluator that comes in who is from the industry, from one of our local businesses in Lansdale, and I have no input at all. No,
Right,
no.
none of the instructors are able to.
No instructor does, that's
that's
correct.
great.
Yes, they either know it or they don't.
Exactly.
But I'm happy to say my students know it.
That's great. Well, Nate, I know North Montco has a vegetable garden. Do you work on that?
Well, I mostly prepare it. Like, I take out one of our power tools called the Manus, and it's just a gas-powered tool I use to till up the ground from it being so cold through the winter,
Right.
and getting it all tilled up, chopped up, and making it soft so we can put, you know, actually dig our holes to put our pots in for our vegetables. So I mostly prepare it. I don't really do the whole like plant work of it.
Okay, well you're doing the important stuff. That's very important. What does North Montco do with the garden, Patty?
Okay, well, we actually have several gardens. Last year, towards the end of the year, we got a grant, I believe through Penn State University, and it was like a farm-to-school grant. And so it was an integrated project, and we worked along with carpentry and culinary. So carpentry made the frames for some raised beds, and then we took it from there. We had the frames set, leveled them out. We made a nice pea gravel walkway around them, edged them out, you know, filled them up with very good garden soil. And then we, in our greenhouse, had been growing herbs throughout the winter. And so we have those 2 raised bed herb gardens, and then culinary is using the herbs then. So that became like a 3-lab integrated project. And it worked out really well. It was really nice. We had some beautiful herbs all through the summer. Yeah. Then we have a large vegetable garden that we use this time of year. Well, actually, we just got it all tilled up and ready to plant, because the students have been sowing seed flats and throughout the winter. And so a lot of the is started in the greenhouse, and we plant a vegetable garden, tomatoes, and just the usual stuff, peppers and things like that. And over the summertime, it gets donated, to different places. Man on Main Street would be one place. Philabundance is another. In the wintertime, when we're not using the vegetable garden for a vegetable garden, we take that plot of ground, and we just got done having our Easter flower sale, and so we force bulbs. So the students learn all about, you know, how we have to schedule them. We count back on the calendar so that they're blooming just in time for whenever Easter falls, because every year that's usually different.
Right.
Yeah, so we take that same plot of ground and we try to just keep it productive through the whole year. So this year, Easter was a little late, so we had them, I guess right after we came back from Thanksgiving break, then we got our bulbs, because the bulbs have to go through a cold treatment period, and so we had them in the ground and had very successful Easter flower sale. So
That's great. A lot of uses for the garden, and it's really good that you were able to work with other programs on something that's so beneficial to many people.
Yeah. Well, and you know, the farm to table concept is really huge right now, and yeah, so we're just really trying to incorporate the idea of sustainable agriculture and, you know, farm to table kind of stuff into the curriculum at this point too.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Well, Cassie, what do you plan to do when you graduate?
I plan to go to college to pursue floral, and I also have a part-time job right now in floral.
Oh, great. So is that your ultimate goal then?
Yeah, floral.
Great. How about you, Nate?
Well, right now I work part-time at Daniel's Lawn and Garden Center. So when I graduate, I plan on working there full-time throughout the summer, and then hopefully go into community college to take business and eventually own my landscaping business one day.
That's terrific. Now, this is exactly what Mr. Paddock was speaking about earlier, how there's the misconception that people don't go to college if you attend the tech school, and you both plan to and have different career goals, but very good ones. So we wish you all the best with that.
Thank you.
Now, Nate, if there's an 8th grader or 9th grader thinking about this program or any of the schools at the tech school, what advice would you give them?
Well, I would tell them, you know, don't follow the crowd, like take automotive or, you know, building trades. Branch out a little bit, expand your want to do something else. Like if you enjoy being outside and, you know, using power tools, you know, you can do that in automotive, but you're inside a shop. You're doing something else rather than being outside and actually being one-on-one with nature and, you know, expanding your imagination. So I would tell them to, you know, try something different. Don't follow the crowd, and, you know, you may like it or you may not. You know, don't be like everybody else. Try something new, because that's what I did. And I absolutely love the class that I'm in, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
That's great. That's really good to hear. And you obviously have some great career goals, and you're in high school. And like you said, try it now while you're in high school. Expand now. So that's great. I want to thank you all for being here. We learned a lot about your program, and I really appreciate it. If you would like any more information about the Floral Design and Landscaping program or any of the 22 programs offered at North Montco Technical Career Center, just give us a call at 215-368-1177 or visit our website, www.nmtcc.org. For North Montco Technical Career Center, I'm Suzette McHugh. Thank you for watching.